the right to see the smiling eyes behind me. Drink, drink, let the toast round and play. Young, hearts never part. Let every true lover salute his sweetheart. Let's drink.
Hello.
Oh.
This is the Sixth Axis semi-regular pubcast, where we go down the pub and we talk about games. And today I am Dominic Layton. I don't know why that's different from any other day, but I'm definitely am him today.
You are.
I'm the reviews editor for the Sixth Axis. And who are you?
Today I am Adrian, or Aid, and I write reviews and write about playing with history stuff too.
You always do this, just so I have to be like, hello, today I am Kale, and sometimes do a review for the site.
One every year.
Pretty much one a year. I think that's my quota these days.
It was a good one this year though.
Thanks.
But you are always here to drink free beer.
I am. I love it. It's great.
Have to get your priorities straight. And I am Ant, the random American who somehow got onto this podcast twice in a row.
Who is he? Where does he come from?
He replaces the missing member. each
Exactly.
time.
Just
We are-
randomly found in the pub.
That's it. But it makes life easy. And it does make it seem like you're always in the pub.
Yeah, that's actually slightly true at the end of it. So,
Just waiting for a pubcast to come along.
no,
Aren't we all?
my moment to shine.
So, even though it's August and there's no games coming out, there's still stuff to talk about because, frankly, the games community is awful most of the time, really.
That's fair.
It's true though.
I hate myself.
Where's the lie?
Let's begin with the PlayStation 5.
Ooh.
Everybody wants one of those.
Shiny.
Well, you don't know. It might not be shiny. It might be matte.
I hope it's really glossy and shiny and slippery and you can't hold on to it and it just shoots out like a bar of soap.
I don't want any fingerprints on mine.
I think it'll be a matte with a shiny strip again. Like the PS4 was
I
originally.
did appreciate that. It's a good aesthetic. It's a very good aesthetic.
I suppose that's kind of where they've been going since the PS3 Slim.
Yes.
That had a shiny bit,
It did.
but was mostly matte. I can live with that.
Yeah, one
except
bit for dust to get stuck to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the shiny bit was the bit that you had to touch.
Yeah.
So that was really clever.
Yeah, you can wipe it clean each time you turn it on.
I appreciate that. So apparently, Germans have said that they are willing to pay $600,
Das ist verboten.
not dollars even, euros.
Euros.
They definitely don't want to pay dollars. So this is the prospective pricing for the PS5, and they've said $600. Yeah.
Ja.
That's how they did it.
600. Ja.
100? Yeah.
100. Ja. 600.
That was the extent of all of my German knowledge, actually.
Very good.
That and 9.
Ich bin Radgefahren.
I don't know what that means. It could mean anything.
How many Germans said this thing?
That is a good question, actually.
Now you're asking for
Was it
detail.
just
Well,
one,
I
one
just
guy?
One German.
Yeah, one
One
guy that was
dude on
like,
Twitter
"Do you know what?
said,
I'll pay 600 euros.
because like most of the content that a lot of newspapers put online now is what people said on Twitter.
Yeah.
Someone
Glad
was
you didn't
really
say
upset
our
about
site.
something on Twitter, and we're going to write a news article about it.
Yes.
Spend 500
I
words on
can't
this one.
say I read the original source from whence it came.
I think they had a survey. Was the
Surveys are trustworthy.
and
No.
Well, it was a sample size 3.
it was a survey
Me, my mum,
survey
my
by
nan.
German site chip.d.
Oh.
They're good. It's good stuff.
And that's from a survey with 5,800 responses.
Ooh, all right. That's a
It's
reasonable
quite
amount.
decent, yeah.
That's a reasonable amount.
That's a decent
Decent sample
test size.
size.
Yeah.
So they're saying €600 when PlayStation 3 released at
350?
400, I think it was.
But at the time, the euro was not as good as the pound by far, was it?
Just a reminder. Am I allowed to curse on this podcast or not?
No, I say fuck all the time.
Oh, okay.
And worse.
Wait. So I can't.
No,
You can.
I can.
You can, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's loud.
So 5,800 people is still less than 1% of their population, right? So
Yeah.
in terms of people buying it, that is probably less than maybe 1% of people buying it, possibly. That is a very small sample size we're willing to pay that much money.
This is true.
Yes.
But my thing is that I think people will pay that.
They probably will, yeah.
Because if we're now paying up to £1,000 for mobile phones,
I don't
Wait.
think I don't think it's a transferable market though.
I don't know, man.
I think people love tech.
Yes,
And-
but the if you look at the last generation and Microsoft thinking they could get away with charging £500 or whatever, it was like £450 or something in this
Something
country.
like that.
Yeah.
And it tanked. And it tanked. I mean, naturally tanked in Europe because they're not as favourable for it anyway. But price is really a massive factor, more so than power, I think, for a new console release.
I think
and-
for the tech that they're putting in it, though,
Yes.
I can't see that pricing working out from otherwise.
But you don't. I mean, you never know because they've currently got a console that is now sold over 100 million units. They now have the clout to buy a lot more components, so in massive bulk. So whether they can do that and get the RAM or the SSD to be cheaper, I got an SSD recently and I was quite shocked by how cheap it was.
No, the price of them has absolutely plummeted in
Yes.
the last year, hasn't
It's
it?
fantastic.
So I don't know. I would like to think they learned the lesson from the PS3 by telling you to get another job to pay for it. Thanks, Ken.
Did they seriously say that? I don't
Yeah,
remember
Ken
that.
Kutaragi was like, when they announced the price for the PS3, he was like, you'll need to get a second job to pay for it. Like,
Well,
Okay.
someone has to say something stupid every console launch, right?
I think they've learned a lesson from that. That was a massive sticking point when the PS3 came out at its high price, and that had the tech that a lot of people thought was worth it.
That was the
because,
least
you know,
successful PlayStation console as well.
Yeah.
but it had,
particularly
had an
at launch,
SD
yeah.
port. It had all sorts of.
It's
ports
fabulous,
on the
and it was
original
really
one.
glossy and shiny.
And it was backwards
incredibly
compatible.
glossy,
It was all these other things, but at the time, that had tech that people thought was worth paying for, but it still didn't equate to sales.
No.
But it was also really hard to code for, wasn't it?
Yes.
From my
Yeah.
understanding,
Yeah,
compared to the Xbox, it was significantly harder for
Yeah,
developers
they
to work with.
didn't really work.
Emotion
I think this.
engine?
Yeah, well, no,
what
it was
was it?
PS2.
Oh, that
it
was
was the
two.
Cell for PS3, which is still a good processor by today's standards. That's how decent it was at the time, but no one knew what to do with it, which is fine. I think they have realised the sweet spot with the PS3. So you release around 350 and then have a higher performing model at a higher price point. That is, I think, the sweet spot to actually sell well. And Microsoft will probably be looking at their next console and pricing it in that way as well, because they won't be beaten on price again, I don't think, or will really try not to be.
Microsoft, in theory, have deeper pockets, though.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, yeah, they've got the war chest, but I mean, they're not really in the same position as Sony for buying parts.
Why do you have to say it in that voice?
The war chest.
The war chest.
It's just the way people bring it up online is they're sort of like the endless
It's
money
like
source.
the old man's war
But they've
chest.
still got, fucking board members and people to appease, so they can't actually just limitlessly spend money.
Sure.
Like any other company. But I would be very shocked if Sony looked at that survey and went, £600 for a PS5. People will buy it, and they won't.
Well, they might
They
price it
won't.
for that in the EU.
I think they would. I think everybody's had, obviously, PlayStation 4 has won out this generation. Most people have them sat under their telly. And I think people have become really used to spending a good whack on a piece of, I'm going to say mobile phones, on a mobile phone, which is a huge piece of tech, and that you walk around with in your pocket for two years and spend upwards £800,000-900,000.
How many people put that down straight away, though? I mean, I don't know the figures, and I'm not asking you to produce them either, but I would presume a very small amount of people put down £1,000 in cash for a new iPhone versus paying a very high contract or trading in something else. I've never spent, I think like £120 is the most I've ever spent on a phone.
But then Microsoft have already started towards the end of this generation looking at this payment sort of plan. They did it over in America.
Yes.
Bundle everything together, so you get your Xbox
Fairly
Live, you
certain
get your Game Pass, you
Microsoft
get
have
your
already
machine.
done a contract to get an Xbox.
Yes, no, they have in the US.
Yeah,
So
sure.
Maybe that's more what we're going to see, is that they're going to go, right, these new consoles have all of this amazing stuff in. I mean, both of them look nigh on identical, really, apart from there's going to be a few little differences here and there, and obviously what exclusives you're going to get. But from a tech point of view, they're looking closer than ever before.
Yes.
And maybe Xbox, this is the way that they're going to go with it. They're going to go, this is £500, this is £600 for the unit, but why don't you buy it on our Xbox payment plan? And I know that's the same thing you can get anywhere,
if Microsoft
in any
are in there,
catalogue or whatever.
Yeah, they're in a better position because they could bundle in Gold and Games Pass. I think that would be a more attractive contract. But then the kind of person that you think is able to do this has already got an expensive contract for their latest iPhone. I don't even like having 2 streaming video subscriptions. 2 is like the max that I will go to. How many expensive tech subscriptions will people have? Like where they're paying, several years, 60 quid a month.
It's exhausting having too many streaming services. It's like it gives you anxiety and just going, what the hell am I going to watch? There's like a million things I could watch tonight. I don't want to watch anything. I just want to read a book and cry.
And now we've got it in gaming anyway.
I know.
Because
I don't want
you've
it.
already got PSN, Xbox Live, Nintendo Online, EA Access, EA Origin.
I think I'm a bit of a Luddite when it comes to streaming.
Ubisoft Plus.
Hooray.
You could not pay me to play all those Ubisoft games. Let alone get me to pay a fucking
17
I don't know,
Assassin's
man.
Creed
Assassin's
games?
Creed Odyssey was pretty fun, actually.
Apparently.
Yeah.
I never finished it. Well, I did finish it technically, but I never went to all the areas because there's just too many of them, and I got tired.
Yeah, I can only play one of
fed up,
them
man.
every couple of years.
My hands
It's
and
exhausting.
my
You can
eyes
sit there and
were
play
up.
forever. It's just too. It's too much. It's too much.
No.
It looked great.
I've not recovered from Black Flag.
Oh, wow, and that was a little while back. I like Black Flag. That was good.
That's actually
That was
one that I want
brilliant.
to play.
Yeah.
But I did nearly everything in it, and then I was like, now I need no more Assassin's Creed.
Ever again.
Yeah,
For the next
probably.
10 years. I'll miss the next 20.
I've actually
probably
just started Origins.
Yeah.
So, would you think the price would be in the US then? Because it's the US tariffs that are going to end up pushing. Like their tariff war with China is going to end up pushing up the price of consoles in
Yes,
America.
Yeah, yes and no. But I would expect that typically what ends up happening is that you'll see prices in pounds and euros, and they'll just change it up for a dollar sign.
Yes.
And so if it's £550, it'll be $550 in the US.
See, that won't
I'm
sell
not thinking
in the
anything.
US either. Like
Maybe not. But it depends. If Sony is gonna go on this, I guess, wave of something as a service, which seems to be the new thing for pretty much every industry that has to do with any sort of entertainment and access. Yeah.
milking monies.
Then I can see them offering you can get a PlayStation for, I don't know, 40 some odd dollars a month. It's for a couple of months, and then you get your PlayStation 5 at the end of it.
I think you're assuming though as well that these consoles and the games that are going to come out from are no longer going to work on the Xbox One or PS4.
Yeah,
Because-
that's a good point.
They're not. Yeah, I mean, I can see the PS4 games are going to work on PS5, but PS5 games are not going to work on PS4. I think I can say that pretty much with certainty.
But
Because
even-
otherwise, why would anyone buy their new console?
Yeah,
To get it to be the proper
8K.
experience.
8K.
Yeah.
You can't even see
No
it
one
with the
has.
human eye anymore. You don't know the difference. It makes sense because so many PlayStation 4 consoles out there. You don't want to
I
lose
think
that
we'll see.
money.
I think we'll see cross-gen games again, like last generation. So Last of Us
Oh, no.
coming out on PS3 at the end of the generation, almost immediately getting a remastered for the new console. I can see that happening. Although maybe more on the kind of Microsoft side, where they have the free 4K updates for backwards compatibility. I'd like to see that rather than Sony charging you again for the game. can't really say with much enthusiasm that they would, given their.
Should we do our own mini survey here? How much would you guys pay
350 is the magic point.
for you?
Yeah.
£350.
Pounds, yes, preferably pounds. That's the currency.
Pieces
I
of
own.
lint.
To be fair,
if there's a top tier and a lower tier
Yeah.
version of it.
Depends.
Because
Yeah,
you guys will be
how-
there in the queue buying it at midnight.
Oh, yes.
So,
Did tell him I
Absolutely.
was the first in Lancaster to get a Pro.
like a queue of two?
Yeah.
You and Dom?
Was it just me and you, or was there someone else?
I'm sure. Well, maybe.
You, Dom, and
Maybe.
Gerald.
Gerald.
The other guy. He loves PlayStation.
Yes. If there's two models, which I suspect they might not do straight away, but might, like Microsoft, kind of bring them out a bit later.
yeah.
I don't know. It depends. It
I'd-
depends
I'd
how
pay
much
up
more
to-
tech it had.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think max level for a console in my brain ever, I think would be £500. But
It's a lot of money, that Dom.
That is
No, it's
Kale
a lot.
hyperventilating into the mics.
I know it's a lot of money. But if this has got sort of close to PC spec stuff in it, are we not going to start to pay close to PC price for it?
You can get
And
a
the
PC
gaps-
for cheaper than 500.
Not with the stuff they're talking about.
Probably quite comparable.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're also making an assumption that
All right then, it doesn't have the badge on the front.
One's glossy and one's matte. Glossy is cheaper.
But ignoring that, how many more consoles do you think we're going to have in terms of like a strict console age that we're having? Because I get the impression that it's going to go away.
I think
This might be the last one.
I
mean,
don't
people
think
said
it'll
that with
be the last
PS4.
one.
the
but
internet's
I
not
don't
good
know.
enough for it to be the last one. Streaming, well, it probably will be the future at some point. But for as long as people like having their own, like actually owning your games rather than like just fittering away any of the licensing or anything that you have. If you're streaming games, you don't own anything. They can take it off or adapt it, whatever, and you have no say.
I should probably clarify what I mean. I don't mean like streaming services. I mean, you have a console at home. That's fine. But I feel like it's going to change from you have a discrete PS4, then you have the PS4 Pro now, and you have Xbox One, and then Xbox. What is the Xbox One Pro version?
Xbox One X.
Xbox One X.
1B.
Terrible name.
2X.
Yeah.
God, it's ridiculous. No, it has three.
Triple X.
Xbox X.
Yeah, I can't count.
Triple X. I don't understand their naming convention, but whatever.
No one
Ignoring
does.
that.
Don't worry about it.
Ignoring that. At some point, if we're talking about multiple tiers for a console to start off with, there's going to be a point where the console lifetime is going to shorten down from 5 years to. You
We're
know,
already seeing short generations
3
now, I think.
to 2.
How long has it been since this one started? Like 5. It's only been 5 years. I want to see.
Yeah, but the
Was it
PS.
2013.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
about
so
2013.
nearly 6
Yeah,
years.
so it's
But-
6. And they're not going to come out this year, so
Yeah.
7.
Yeah, it's probably
It's
still
about-
around the
it's
same.
about the
actually.
same.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
about the same. But I mean, if you're going to be changing these
But
things,
the
up,
midway upgrade is another way of mitigating.
Yeah, and that's
that.
a new thing that we've had this time.
Yeah,
we
so
could have more of
that'll,
those.
that'll be yes. I think you'll see them more frequently. That's a way of mitigating power
yeah.
things.
Yeah. But to answer the
Technical
question,
term, power things.
yeah,
We
to
all-
answer
we
the
know about
question
that.
from before, about 400 some odd pounds. So
Okay.
less than 450.
Okay.
449 is enough, but that's still
It's fucking high,
It's
even
still
with
a-
the pound being
but
like.
it gives
right,
me-
'cause that will be $499.
I still have over a year to save for that, so I feel like I can manage that.
And it still needs some decent games on launch day.
Yeah.
That is
Launch day
true.
games usually always suck.
Yes.
Oh god, yes.
Mostly.
They are
Yes.
terrible. They
There's a
are
few
terrible.
I
exceptions.
can think of like 4 exceptions.
Yeah,
maybe.
but in the whole history of all of the different console launches,
Yes.
there's not many that match up to what you get
No.
later on down the line.
It's going to be Halo Infinity on the Xbox front.
Ooh, what is that? Infinity, endless Halo.
Yeah, sounds boring.
A lot of rings.
The issue with that is is 100% going to work on Xbox
Yes.
One.
Yes,
It's going to
it'll be
100% be on PC.
it'll be
It'll 100% be on
cross-platform.
Game Pass.
Yeah.
So that becomes do I need to pay £400 for the console to play it?
I mean, how much more powerful? I think Microsoft have kind of shot themselves in the foot a little bit by having the One X be as powerful as it is on the cusp of their new console.
Yeah.
So they've already scrapped the lower spec next console because they were doing two.
Yes, they were talking about two.
Was it Durango and Scarlet? And they've ditched Durango.
Yeah, so Scarlet's the only one seemingly that we're getting.
Yeah. And I presume that's because they looked at the other one and went, it's not much better than the X.
Yeah.
Good on them for realizing it, at least.
Yeah.
Are we going to get modular consoles?
I mean, that's something that has always been, like, I think
we had the N64's expansion.
Well, yeah, and then the
things
PS2
like that.
had that big
Good times.
fucking massive cavern inside to put a hard
never
drive
got
in.
used.
Yeah.
Never got used.
So maybe that's going to be a thing, and you can swap out the RAM. And
I mean, that would be-
we're just going to stray closer and closer to having PCs. But
Yes.
Yeah.
Hopefully a little bit more
reliable.
ergonomically sort of pleasing.
I want LEDs in the front of my PS5.
Yeah.
That 5
Rainbow
had better
strips.
light up.
As long
Rainbow
as the
strips, and you
PS5, if the
control it from your
PS5
phone. It's just like, I want it in red now.
I mean, if it has
No, I
an
want the
actually
flash.
good cooling system, I might spend a little bit more on it, but I have little faith.
It's going to have similar. I mean, like the Xbox One X has got some
But,
amazing.
yeah, it's
sort
got
of
like a hybrid liquid cooling.
and is mostly whisper quiet compared to the Pro.
Pretty sure that Sony would just put a half decent fan in
Put a
it.
fire hydrant next to it. Open when you need it. Squirt your
It's a fan and a
PlayStation.
jug of water.
Oh, that'd be amazing. That's £600, please. More if you want to keep the jug.
There's a hole in the top to pop.
It's a refillable jug.
Top it up like a
Yeah.
steam engine.
Yeah, it's perfect.
I want this.
Yes.
And I want it to be glossy.
I would be very shocked if they end up going that high for the price point. Very shocked. Unless they release two models and the higher spec one is more towards that. And it looks worth the spec as well. Like it has double the RAM of the regular PS5.
Sure.
If it's just has double the size SSD hard drive, then fuck that. Let's put my own in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Hopefully they move away from pricing points associated with storage space. I think that's something that really needed to go away a long time. If you're going to have like a higher price point console, have it with more RAM or better cooling or something actually worth the money.
Yeah.
Or an Xbox shaped like a giant X.
Ooh.
That'd be
Yeah,
cool, wouldn't
could
it?
do that again.
Go back to it, yeah. It's like its
Yeah.
origins.
One that there's not a chance is fitting under your telly.
No,
Yeah.
it is your telly. It just sits on top of your telly. Just a big X.
Well, maybe that's the stand for your telly.
Oh my
Hanging on the
goodness,
wall.
Yes.
God, that is such a good
Hanging
idea.
on the wall.
That'd be great. Yeah.
What
That's
are your
something-
votes for what the Xbox is actually going to come out as, name-wise?
Oh, name-wise. Oh,
It's not
God.
because obviously they're not sticking with Scarlet. That's
No.
I reckon-
silly.
No, the
Excalibur.
nice.
Yeah. But with an X,
The
obviously.
code name is always better than the actual name. Like, what happens? Like always,
Yeah.
for every console, for everyone. But Microsoft is so like can't predict their they don't know about numbering order.
No.
already. Xbox 360 1. So I reckon it's going to be 2.
Xbox 2.
But then the thing is,
just
the
the number
reason
two,
one
just
of the
two.
reasons why they didn't want to call it the last one Xbox 3 was because it would be one behind PS4.
Yes.
So I reckon they might just come out and go Xbox 5, or they might just call it the Xbox.
Hang on a
Yeah,
minute,
that's what I'm
but they
thinking,
were-
actually.
But they were
The-
Xbox One, so they were like 3 behind 4.
Yeah, it's a
so
dumb-
That's weird.
Yeah,
It's a very...
I know.
Yeah,
So
Microsoft.
Wait.
They had some random person focus test it and like, oh,
I
well,
mean, they
this focus group
skipped
did not like it.
Windows 9, so I reckon they're going to skip Xbox 4 and go straight to
straight to
Xbox 5. Or maybe they'll be
Well-
like Xbox 7.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe they're going to go, well, we had Xbox, then we had Xbox 360, then we had Xbox One, then we had Xbox One S, then we had Xbox One X. So this could be Xbox 6, which is one higher than PlayStation.
That's actually probably, yes.
So,
Yeah.
Now you're thinking like a
That's-
Microsoft exec.
You think, you're
Basically,
thinking
yes.
Roman
no!
numerals.
Oh my god!
They could have Xbox X1, right? It's just like the
Sure.
Roman numerals. It makes it
Oh,
look,
yeah.
makes it look classy.
Go the other way around.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
The then that's the Xbox 11.
It'll be like Xbox saves.
Oh, you make a good point. It would have to have V1, wouldn't we? That wouldn't work.
Would
It'll
they
be
go very?
Xbox 6 in Roman numerals.
Would they go very, very American and go Xbox XL instead?
Oh.
Just would they go very American that way? I don't know. I can see them doing something very stupid.
It could be the Xbox XL.
It's like, oh,
And it's
I
got
feel shit about
spreadsheets.
this. Yeah, it's like, oh god, I don't need
Wow.
this. I don't need this. But it would fit the demographic very well.
It's all right. Most of
Chinese
are in
American.
the UK.
Yeah. All right.
You can
Allowed to
say
say
that.
it.
I
Yeah.
don't
Okay.
mind.
I think you're right, though. I think maybe they'll sort of try and one-up the PS5 in that sense.
Yeah.
Like in the same way that when Activision split from Atari, they chose Activision so they were above them in the alphabet.
Nice.
And,
Yeah.
when Acclaim split from Activision, they did the same thing. So they named themselves again above Activision, so they would appear above them in the alphabet.
Brilliant.
Maybe Microsoft would do the same thing, but with numbers.
But wait, they're already above them in the alphabet. They win.
No.
If not, if they call them Xbox, but if they call them Microsoft.
Microsoft Xbox.
Microsoft's Xbox.
MS Box.
MS
Wait,
Box.
No, it sounds like
No.
Sex
multiple
box.
sclerosis.
Oh,
No, maybe
that
not.
got weird.
I don't
On
know.
that bombshell.
No.
It's gonna
What
be
would
the
you pay
Xbox.
for the new PS5?
Whoa, not
Oh
a
yeah.
penny over 20 English pounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
You really wait for him to go down in
I know,
price.
really do. Yeah, I'm going
PS1
to trade
yet.
in everything in the house. A sofa, a fridge.
Do they take them at game now?
Yeah, they're pretty desperate.
They do actually. You walk out
basically
the window
they
and you're
come
like,
for you,
wow,
aren't
they
they?
take
They
everything.
literally take everything. Take my shoes. Have some shoes.
I took them some jam.
Oh, they loved it. It was Granny's jam. That makes it better. Homemade jam.
When you say it like that, it sounds really wrong.
It
It
sounded
did.
kind of
It does.
yeah, it sounded a
Terrible.
bit innuendo-y, didn't it?
It did a little bit.
Yeah.
innuendo-y.
Did. Not
Sorry.
jam. Don't put that in there. Feel very ill.
Would
I-
you?
Probably.
Have you tried?
No, that's why I said, would you?
Your PS4 is already making a lot of noise. Might as well try it now. Throw some jam inside.
Fill it with
See what it
jam.
does. For the good of science.
Yes,
Okay,
I must
come on.
know.
Come on, Kale.
I bet
try
it's
it.
quite sweet.
Oh, I bet. Just
Oh,
smoothing
And
things out a
everyone
little
stops
bit.
talking in the pub.
Ah, right. Yeah, that's great.
this is when the Pubcast goes
Oh.
wrong.
Yeah, that was fair. That was
Anyway, let's move on to the next thing.
Beautiful segue.
Thank you.
Yes.
Bum jam
Good.
to the next topic.
From bum jam to orange man.
Yeah, which is, I mean, it's a fair
Very
description
good.
for both.
Is it?
It's a fair description for both, to be fair. It is.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, it has been a bad week in America
It has.
because bad things have happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Donald Trump has decided to once again blame good old computer games for what is obviously horrific and awful violence
Yes.
committed.
Not looking at that repeating Onion article where, you know, like, we don't know why this happens, says one nation where this regularly happens.
Yeah. So,
It's only nation where this happens.
Yeah.
Let's be fair. It's only nation in that title.
Yes.
I guess the fundamental thing is that the correlation between computer games in terms of sales in all of the other countries and the number of mass shootings that then occur in those countries seems not to say that mass shootings are and video games are directly linked in
No.
any way, shape or form.
Literally the easiest to read graph ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's this big line where the US is.
In some ways, I feel like I'm on trial even though I didn't do anything.
It's because
How dare I?
we have actually all turned towards Andy.
It's true.
So-
Everyone is looking at me. I'm looking down at my pint, just hoping.
this problem.
Hoping.
Yes.
God, yeah, it's terrible. So
Donald Trump really just playing to his voter base.
he
though,
can play
right?
to his
I mean,
base as much as he wants. It doesn't change the facts. So it's the same thing with flat earthers and anti-vaxxers. It's if you say something, it doesn't make it true. The facts are the facts. Truth is the truth. So say what you want. It doesn't change anything. There's
Unless
other-
you're Donald Trump.
Yeah, and he can claim fake news as much as he wants, but he's a known liar.
Despite being the
and
biggest
just-
perpetrator for fake news
He is.
of any president ever.
He is
He's lied more than any other
He's-
president.
a propagandist, I guess is the word for it. But he's just a narcissist and a liar, and everything he says that comes out of his mouth is just I can't. He could come out tomorrow, disavow literally everything he said before, and I still would not believe him.
No.
Because he would be doing it for self-preservation. But ignoring that argument, because that's an entirely separate thing about who the U.S. president is and what he stands for. There's no correlation between video game violence and gun violence in the U.S. I think someone pointed out that the U.S. has roughly 50 times population or 5 times population of the UK or something like that, and
50
spend
times.
50 times.
Yeah.
50 would be a bit much because that'd be
No.
like 3.1 billion.
There's less.
There's 60 billion
Oh,
in the
no,
UK.
sorry.
There's 60 million in the UK. Sorry, not 60
Yeah.
million. 60
Yeah.
million in the UK.
About 220 million.
Oh, 350
Fuck.
some odd in the US. So 7 times.
Loads of them.
There's loads.
Yeah, 7 times, 6 times, 7
Yeah.
6. But and then and proportionate spending for video games in the UK versus US is still roughly equal.
Yes.
But in terms of mass shootings, there's about 470 times as many in the US versus the UK. It's the
Yes.
one argument where it doesn't match up apart from like medical spending and health, like spending on health insurance, because in the UK people are not spending on that.
No.
But again,
No.
that's a separate argument.
Yeah.
Let's leave that
Although,
alone.
isn't the
Put it to the side.
American life expectancy it's been dropping?
It has been dropping over the last few years, which is the only developed country in the world where that's been happening.
Good job, guys.
So yeah, we've done real well.
And it might
Manifest
not.
the rule.
This might not be anything that you do in your lifetime. It might just be that you get shot at Walmart.
I'm not doing anything in part of this. I left the country for a reason.
I know.
didn't
I'm not saying you as in you.
No,
General you.
no! You're attacking me. I can
think
hear
he
it
was.
in your voice.
Kick his bum.
Me.
Kick his bum.
Kick his bum.
in.
How dare you?
Call
Kick
him
his
mean
I'm an
names.
immigrant to this nation, and you're doing this. Okay.
Is it just that everybody, no, not everybody, because you're from there, but do people just love their guns?
Okay, let's be fair.
Yes.
I'm from there, and shooting guns is very fun. Right? I don't own any, never have, but my friends have, and we've gone to the shooting range, and it is a whole lot of fun. But I'm in a very controlled environment when I'm shooting weapons.
Sure.
Right? I'm not just going out and like, hey, let's just start spraying and praying and hoping for the best.
No.
Right? There is very much right, there's a target there, I'm going to hit that, and there is a bulletproof wall on the other side, and no one's going to get injured if I, fuck up in a very serious way. Right? That's a very different situation. There's good gun owners in the U.S., and then there's a lot of really terrible gun owners in the U.S. And all these guys who've gone out and done these mass shootings are terrible gun owners because no one is coming out and enforcing the laws we have on the books in regards to who can buy a gun, when they can buy a gun, what sort of delays there have to be between you putting in an order for a gun and you actually receiving the firearm.
Yeah, because the thing that I find weird is like you guys have driving licenses, right?
Yes.
And like cars kill more than pretty much anything else.
Apart from guns.
Apart from, I don't know. I think cars.
In America, no, I think it's guns.
Oh, is it guns in America?
Yeah, in terms of like your proportionality for being killed.
So, like, what's the big deal about putting the same rules you had for driving a car for owning a gun? You think the two would kind of match up, right? Who
Maybe
would
if
have
you
a
could
problem
buy
with that?
if you could buy detachable metal bumpers for your car
I think
that
like
you
a
can,
transformer.
that you can fire off.
You've got that.
Maybe cars would be
You've got
higher.
that pesky Second Amendment. Though,
Yeah,
That's the problem.
Stupid Second Amendment. But they had rubbish rifles then. That
They
took
did have
ages to
rubbish rifles.
reload.
Muskets.
Flintlock muskets.
And there's an entire
Rub
portion of
stuff.
that. Well, there's an entire portion of the amendment that's definitely associated with having a well-regimented militia associated with owning a firearm. That there was a Supreme Court case about, actually. I think it was like 10, maybe, no, it's probably like 20 years ago at this point. But because of a comma, the Supreme Court decided that grammatically it meant that the regulated militia part of it wasn't necessarily implicit into owning a gun, I think.
Okay.
I'm not a lawyer or a solicitor by any means. I'm a man of his, I guess, science in some ways. But that just seemed weird. I don't know. That's just how I took it.
Power
It
of
just,
commas.
yeah, the power of grammar in the U.S. Supreme Court is incredible because, yeah, that's what stopped it from
We
having any
couldn't
sort of teeth.
possibly change something that was an amendment.
No.
Oh, no.
Cannot be amended.
No. The first 10 amendments are, I don't know. You might as well call them the 10 Commandments in the U.S. in some ways.
Yeah.
Just as an aside, earlier today I was at work talking to my coworkers just about random shit we think is weird, and I brought up how in America, in public school, from kindergarten through 12th grade, which is I guess equivalent of like sixth form or whatever it is here before you go to university.
Sure.
Every day, you're expected to stand up, put your hand on your heart, and then pledge a flag, like allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Yes.
So, my
Some
coworkers
kid
are
was-
Swedish and Portuguese. They had no idea what I was talking about. So I had to explain this was insane. And they looked at me like I was crazy, which is fair, because, yeah, it is crazy. But
It's very fash, isn't it?
it is very fascist. But I haven't said the pledge in about 12 to 15 years, somewhere in there. Not going to put a hard in on it. But I still know it, and I still recited it with no breaks. Because I did it for 12 years straight, 13 years straight.
I mean, I got given detention at school for not knowing Hail Mary. That's the.
Hail Mary, who wars.
Don't do it.
I don't
It's
fucking know
actually
that one.
literally trauma.
I am not Catholic. And yet somehow I know part of that stuff.
Yeah, I think there was a kid that was just hospitalised in America for not standing up for the national anthem.
He didn't take his hat off.
Yes, that was it.
He didn't. He stood up. He
and he
didn't
was-
take his hat off.
And he was white, which is what I found
Yes.
most surprising about
But he
the
was at a
story.
fucking rodeo where you have to be so on point for everything. And he's a child, so hey.
So what happens if you're just visiting America and you don't know it? And say I went to America and I wanted to visit a rodeo. I'm a big rodeo fan.
Don't go.
I love a good rodeo.
Fucking go.
They're a big hit in the UK. Rodeos. Like, say, and I was wearing a hat, maybe one with beers on the side and little straws into my mouth. And I
Classic.
didn't take it off. What would happen during the...
You would get punched in the face.
Wow, even as
At
a
a
visitor
minimum.
to your country, because I'm providing money
What if you're setting fire to the
your
flag
economy.
while
Right.
not wearing
Well,
hats? Why
I
are you wearing
Bought the
5
hat
hats?
with the beer from a US store.
Let's be fair. This person was a child. A literal child. There's no description for him other than he was a child. He's still alive, I think. I hope. And I am literally putting quotes around that because I actually don't know if he's still alive at this point.
I think
He was
so.
airlifted away to a different state because the state he was in did not have hospitals that could
God.
support his health.
Jesus.
Right?
Power of
I hope
nationalism.
he's still alive. But this poor child got assaulted by a grown man who was upset because he did not remove his hat during the national anthem. And if a child is not going to get any sort of leeway,
And I'm fucked.
what hope do you have?
What if the hat's a
Don't
US
go to the
flag hat?
rodeo.
No.
You have to
don't.
remove it still.
Don't go to rodeo. Even though I love rodeo.
What if it's glued to your head?
Well, then that would, if you were asking to just get,
Then you gotta
murdered
shave
in the
your
street.
head.
As you're getting punched and you're shouting the words, "I'm not from here."
Yeah.
What if it's
If
not
okay,
on fire because
to go
you
back to
looked at it?
Kale's point, if it's an American flag hat and you're getting punched and you're falling to the ground, you're going to get stomped even worse because now you let the flag fall to the ground. How dare you, you
Yikes.
dirty, dirty foreigner!
God. Well,
I'm glad
it's
we've
fine.
had
I'm
that
never going
I am
there
painting
anyway.
a wonderful picture of my
Yeah.
home country.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm never going. Get shot.
Yeah, it's fair. That's fair.
It's because he'd probably do a dance in front
That's
of a
why I
policeman.
like
I'd probably
or
set
something.
fire to a flag. Yeah.
Always a good idea.
No, don't do that. It's,
I mean, well, don't like nationalism.
That's just you.
Yes.
Well, it's not
fine.
just you.
Don't like
We
our
don't
flag
like
either.
it.
It's wank.
Not with the
It's not even symmetrical.
the starry sort of thing on it, something.
Yeah, not keen on the stars either, actually.
I feel
Oh,
like
the stars are quite nice. People like stars.
I like stars,
The
but
twinkly.
not like fash stars, though, are they?
I feel like we may have drifted away from
Yeah,
our
what was
core
the
purpose.
original conversation point?
Jump and
Yeah, guns and
games.
Guns and games.
They-
There's always been a.
always.
There's always been sort of an
they've
argument.
always
There's
blamed us.
always been.
Who was that fucking lawyer from America that always had a thing against
Yeah,
GTA?
I can't
Was it
remember
Mark
his-
Thompson or something?
Something like that. And he went away, didn't he? 'Cause
Yeah.
everything was about trying to create some kind of link between
Yes.
violence and video games.
It's always been a hot topic
Yeah.
amongst like the American right wing because they anything to avoid saying that the guns are the problem, and even stigmatizing mental health, which is something that they
Although I
love
wonder,
doing.
like as the video game industry continues to grow, which inevitably will, as more people
Yeah,
kind
well,
of don't
it
have
is-
like
it is doing it.
worthwhile jobs, and they find video games for some sort of satisfaction and all the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
Then at some point, is it going to overtake the gun industry? And then it becomes a case you're not trying to appease
Absolutely.
those people who've
there are only 5 million members
who
of the
bribed you
NRA.
during your campaign.
So the NRA only has 5 million numbers, like 5 million members. Sorry,
Yeah.
which is it's tiny in America
Compared to games.
compared
They've
to
got all the
people who play games.
Yeah,
yes, it's,
I mean,
it's
I
absolutely
don't know
tiny
the
number.
numbers, but you just wonder, like, is there a point where it's just not going to become worthwhile trying to appeal to the gun lobbyists?
I think it's the amount of money they pay.
Or the
to
video games
get
need to
to-
lobby.
They're
to
still a
Republican-
very, very
Yeah.
powerful
Yeah.
segment of the nation, aren't they?
Yeah.
Lobbying, that's what they need to get rid of.
Yes.
It's just like bribery, isn't it, really? It's not-
Yes, that's precisely what it is. Yeah.
You're quite right.
Yeah,
Good
it's exactly
point.
what it is,
It's a
yes.
different word.
Yeah.
But it's the
They
same
gave
thing.
it a weird euphemism,
I
like
know.
lobbying.
It
So
sounds
people are
fun,
like,
doesn't
oh,
it?
lobby.
Lobby.
I love being in the lobby.
Oh, lobbies are good.
Lobbies are nice. Yeah, but I do. Obviously, the games press has really reacted to this statement from Trump, rightly so, because there is no link between mass shootings and video games. But I do think there is a huge conversation to be had about gaming communities, particularly online, like fostering and festering far right ideology. Like, look at a lot of the shooters who posted memes or their own manifestos or even live streaming through 8chan and YouTube, and the links between like video game culture and that is high, to say the least.
Yeah.
So, I mean, without just going fucking gamers, like, but that is basically it. So, it's
But this-
terrible.
Yes. There's some good ones.
Of course there are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure there is. Sure.
Yeah.
That was,
cool.
yeah, you're right. That was a very patronizing statement, wasn't it?
Sorry. Yeah. I mean, there are.
There's a
Probably-
lot more good than there are ill. It's
our
just the
listeners.
internet has a problem of amplifying
Yes, it does.
the minorities until they sound like a majority, and they're not. It's like, look at Twitter. It's a cesspool, but it's a cesspool made up of a minority,
Yes.
not a majority. Most people are like, well, I don't really know anything about that. I just want to buy some jam to put on my bum.
Granny's jam.
Grandma, yeah.
Granny's jam.
Granny's
Granny's best.
Ooh.
Exactly.
I guess it'd be an alright name for cider, wouldn't it? Granny's Jam, maybe.
No.
No.
Not now. I'm sorry, everyone. I've ruined jam forever.
I'm a Grand's
I
jam.
like jam too.
AIDS just ruined grannies.
Sorry.
What you do?
That's what I do.
He's well known around these parts. So.
Yes, yeah. He's got his photo up, wanted in nursing homes.
Don't let this man in.
God.
I feel like we're
Took a
only
very
just
dark turn.
vaguely managing to hold on to what we're supposed to be doing today.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Right,
It's because
yes.
all the conversations are bleak.
Yeah,
You don't have enough money for the new console. Fascism. Yay!
Yeah. What makes all these things better? Granny's jam.
Yeah.
You
There's,
get your kicks where you can.
there is a huge link between certain gaming communities and the rise of the far right. If you look at Gamergate, for example, which is where a lot of this has come into public space.
Yeah.
There's a huge link between there. As I was saying to these guys before we started recording, like Steve Bannon used to effectively radicalize people through World of Warcraft many years ago.
Yeah.
Before we went to Breitbart, I think.
Right.
There is an article somewhere online about this, so just Google it.
Go on. Go have a
Probably
look.
easier.
Steve,
Make
Which is
your
really
world bleaker.
insidious.
Or even better, Ecosia it, because they plant trees when you search for stuff.
Oh, what?
Ecosia.
A kosher?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like a carbon neutral Google. So when you search for things, they plant trees.
That's nice.
Yeah. It's good that.
What if you keep searching the same thing over and over and over
don't
again?
keep planting the same tree.
Yeah, it counts how many trees you planted. I'm on a couple of hundred, I think. Yeah.
Where do they plant these trees?
All over the place. I did some research into it to make sure it was legit. Because it sounds too good to be true.
They planted 200 trees.
And it is legit. Yeah, they plant them in areas that need them.
Just
And they
you.
kind of-
Everyone needs them.
Yeah. I might be talking rubbish there. Maybe I've done... No, I'm pretty sure I have. I think that's what my web browser says. But I do a lot of searches for... you're researching something.
Jam.
Jam. Oh, shit, it's about jam with two M's.
I mean, I did that all the
Another
day.
search, 2 trees.
I was writing about zombies today, and I did quite a few kosher searches, just on zombies alone. So adds
That
up.
sounds like kosher.
I think it's every 45 searches you do equates for one tree that they can then plant.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
So it's really good.
How does searches turn into seeds?
It basically turns from the advertising revenue, they put that into paying companies who already plant trees to keep on being able to plant these trees. They just fund them.
Oh, okay.
And then they do that, and they've planted something like 50, 60 million, I think.
Nice.
It's loads. And
That's
you just
a
stick
lot
it,
of trees.
you just stick it on your browser. It's
not
like a little
enough.
extension.
It's not enough. I think
You just search for kosher. It's basically Bing.
I think like the UK was predicted to need to plant 2 billion trees in this country to help combat climate change. That's just
Wow.
in the UK, which is
Okay.
tiny.
In which case, it's not enough trees.
No,
No,
but
search more.
if everyone listening to this,
Be
and
more
you guys
curious.
get a kosher and start searching, just think.
Okay.
Well,
Add
that's
a few
cool.
more.
Yeah.
I've
You're
never
welcome,
tried.
everyone. You're welcome.
Nice.
And that's much more positive than the other things.
That's
we've talked
nice.
about.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
significantly
I
more
get it.
positive.
You get a nice warm glow
I've
from
got,
thinking about
yeah,
that.
same. I know it's just warm.
Yeah, no, you're just sweating at this point.
Very sweaty forehead.
I know.
Stick the hat off.
It doesn't quite flow off the tongue saying, I'm going to kosher it, though, does it?
No.
Well, Google didn't either before, did it? Took some
No,
time.
maybe.
We got used to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
practice it. I'm going
Although-
to kosher it.
Yeah, it takes a while for a product name to come into common use. Although Google did try to fight that.
Yeah,
They
well,
weren't-
fuck those guys.
They weren't
So-
keen that people were just using their own brand as common use.
Though to
but
be
it's
fair,
happened now.
everyone
Tough
was-
shit, guys.
Yeah, but everyone was using their web browser anyway, and they were using their search engine, so it wasn't like it was.
Nobody's yahooing it anymore.
No one's binging shit.
I think people do Bing shit actually,
No,
but,
maybe a
Okay,
couple.
nobody's
don't-
asking
definitely not
Jeeves.
Yahooing.
No.
it.
No one's asking Jeeves. No,
No.
one's going to Alta Vista
Yeah.
and saying, "I'm going to Google that." No.
Fuck, what was the Labrador one?
Labradoodle,
Labradoodle, yeah.
No, it was before that.
doggy woggy,
Like
floggy.
Lyoka,
Leica?
Leica, wasn't
something
it?
like that.
Was it
Yeah,
like-
The one
Leica,
after
like-
the...
Well, lichen,
the
like a
Cosmo
werewolf.
doggy.
someone with a dog on it.
The one in Harry Potter.
No.
Turns into a werewolf. What's he called? I don't know. That guy turns into a werewolf. You know.
There's a
I
couple.
don't know. Knowing J.K. Rowling's writing skills, it would be like werewolf face.
Yeah, but she
Well,
hates
it's
it.
literally- no, it's literally just
or it'd be like,
Lupin.
Lupin.
There we go.
Literally Lupin.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
Just wolf.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
There
it was a
you go.
surprise when he turned into a werewolf.
Oh,
Well, surprise if you're 11. So.
yeah. That was a target market, let's be fair.
Yes, we're not 11.
No.
Long way from 11.
Jesus.
Are you sad? Are you crying? Are you
No.
actually crying?
No, just remembering being 11. pretty shit.
Ah.
I like how the American comes out and starts accusing someone of crying.
Yeah. Why was it so
It's
bad?
nice.
Being 11?
Terrible.
I went to Our Ladies over there.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm sorry
it's all right.
for being so aggressive about
Yeah.
that.
To go
My
to a
mum was
Catholic
my
school.
teacher
You
when
can
I
cry
was
if you
11.
want to. Man.
Well, one
You
of
can
my
dance if you
teachers.
want to,
It's
too.
the weirdest
That
time.
My
was
teacher
ever.
in school.
She was my history teacher in my school.
Your mum.
For a second, I thought you were
Terrible.
homeschooled, and I was like, you turned out really well for being homeschooled. Well done.
I'm sure some people have turned out very well from
I'm
being
sure.
homeschooled.
Some have. I'm sure.
We just don't know that.
It was bad enough when you called the teacher mum instead of miss. Like,
I did call my teacher mum,
yeah.
and everybody went, he's for it now. And then they went, oh, hang on.
We're for it now. Damn it. It's better than mummy, though, right?
Mm.
Who
Significantly.
says mummy?
I would imagine at
Has anyone
11 I
ever
did
said-
say mummy.
Oh,
Mummy. I was very posh.
Oh, wow. Ha-dee-da.
weirdest segue and
I know,
tangent
yeah.
ever.
Yeah, so fascists and gamers. They're just one and the same, weren't they? Yeah, I had nothing to add to that. They're
Kale's
just-
run away,
Kale has run away.
but we should
That's fair.
be sort of rounding things out a little bit.
Wrap it up.
So, but it's August and there's a horrible lull at the moment,
Yep.
which means that there's not really any games to play.
Yeah. You could maybe play some stuff in your back catalogue.
Could do. It's supposed to be what August is for. No, wait. August is for going outside.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Kind of humid at the moment.
Ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been all right.
Today was nice.
Yeah.
But we do have Gamescom coming
Yes.
in Cologne. That's
Yes.
how the Germans pronounce it. I'm
Köln.
fairly certain.
Ins Köln, yeah. And the Germans out there will be like, the fuck was that? But that's fair. That's fair.
Cologne.
Cologne.
And there's going to be lots of games there. And hopefully, well, certainly we'll be telling you about them because Taff's going.
Oh, what a
So
lucky man.
He's already filled his entire schedule. I don't know what's on it. I've stopped sending him emails now.
Unless he cries. You keep on sending
I
them.
could keep sending emails until he cries.
No, I don't
That's
do that.
possible. But yeah, are we excited about Gamescom?
Is there much exciting gonna be
Well,
make an appearance?
I guess.
really?
I mean, Gamescom is the biggest one in Europe.
Yeah.
And given that they've now pushed EGX, which is our biggest one, back to October,
There might be a bit more room for
well,
excitement.
Gamescom has always been exciting, and EGX now I think will be less exciting because in October we'll have already got half of the games that are about to come out.
Yes.
So unless by virtue of being a month later we suddenly get a load of sort of January, February, March
Stuff for next year, yeah.
Yeah.
Does that happen? Like whenever we've been to EGX, I've noticed, a high proportion of games that are basically already out or out in like a week or two, and you're like, I'm just gonna wait.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna play the game I've already bought.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
The thing is, though, like,
Thanks so
but
much.
people queue up. Like a couple of years ago, people were queuing to play Destiny 2, and it had been out for
Yeah.
a good
Because they
couple
were
of
doing,
months.
I
or
think they were
so.
doing a multiplayer competition, weren't
Yeah.
they? But at the same
Maybe.
time, like,
Maybe.
Gamescom looks exciting this year, and they've got a opening show.
Oh, a dancey
from-
show? Because
Yeah.
you're doing dance movements with your hands.
Yeah, they've got Geoff
Yeah.
Keighley.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Geoff
either.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Oh, Jeff.
Geoff Keighley.
Yes.
Keithley.
Yeah.
He's a
Keighley.
very charismatic man.
I like Jeff.
His eyes are
Do
not
you
dead.
really?
Yeah, a
you
little
sure?
bit. Yeah.
Okay.
He's a hard worker, isn't he? You can
He is.
tell. He's a
Yeah.
grafter.
It comes
I-
across as that, I suppose.
Yeah.
He is, but the thing that I've always disliked about him is his kind of really weird kind of relationship with various marketing and advertising bullshit. I mean, his whole, the meme about him being the Dorito Pope.
Yeah.
It stems from this when he was doing an interview and like surrounded by Mountain Dew and Doritos. And it was like it's awful.
What's the
But
thing he does? It's the Game Awards, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
it
remember
does.
watching that. That was a long night.
It keeps getting longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. No, but I think he's got a lot of enthusiasm. So I like him. I don't think he's not a shit.
No, he's not. He wouldn't be
He's just
sentient.
doing his job.
He wouldn't
He's
be able
doing
to
his
talk.
job, but he's doing his job in weird capitalist bullshit time. Like when Microsoft had like McDonald's stuff at one of their things once. Do you remember that? When they had like loads of people on like fake people on tables laughing and eating McDonald's.
Like mannequins. Oh, no, real
Oh, we're
people.
having a great
like
time.
that scene from Home Alone with the strings and the shadow puppets.
Yeah. But I guess that's more
Good scene, that.
America, right? With
good
its
scene.
kind of like advertising
Yeah.
stuff.
So what are you looking forward to?
At Gamescom,
Yeah.
Elden Ring. Although
Oh, you said about that.
I think it'll be press only showing. I've got a feeling. So hopefully someone will record it with a good phone.
And you can
Sure
watch
they
it.
will.
At a minimum, we'll
That's
get
just
leaks
what
from it
happens.
because I know that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Someone's going to say,
Leaky,
"Wow,
leaky, weaky, woo.
look at all these things we found from Elden Ring."
Yeah, that'd be
Ooh,
nice.
Elden Ring.
Elden Ring.
George theme, what's it?
George
Yeah, R.R. Martin.
Martin, because the RR is bullshit. So
Did you just make it up?
he did.
Doesn't stand for Rolls Royce.
No.
No, to be like Tolkien.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Yeah.
a shame.
It is such a shit thing, but then the show makes sense at the end of it. So it's like, all right, okay.
Yeah,
It did make sense.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's crap too. Fair enough. All right. Okay.
It was better than Lost.
Yeah.
Better than Sopranos,
Just-
where it just ended. And you're like, what happened to my TV? Why isn't it
Oh,
working
do you mean
anymore?
about the end of Game of Thrones? No, it's awful. But his ending will be good. I
Oh, in the
imagine.
book?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
It
people that
won't.
fucked up the show with
He's gonna-
the showrunners
He's
were
not
the
going to
people that
finish
fucked
the
up the
books,
show.
though. That's the thing.
Well,
He's going to be dead before.
Exactly.
All right, God.
I'm not wishing him ill, but he's not going to finish.
You know, it's
He
fine.
will not finish.
Unless he's already written it and he's just been waiting for the TV show to
Or he's
finish.
just being a massive tease. Do you think?
I think so.
I
Yeah.
reckon. I reckon
Yeah.
he's going, I haven't done it. And he's going,
Oh, yeah.
I have done it.
And my RR actually stands for
What?
Red Roger.
What are you looking forward to at Gamescom?
I don't know, really. I'm not that excited about anything much.
Well,
coming
you're not
up.
excited
That's a
for this
shame.
massive marketing event.
You should be excited. It's the last one we're going to be able to go to easily.
Yeah. I don't know. Tell me
It had
something
to
that
be
I
a
should be.
£15 visa.
Oh, that's a good point. Actually, I'm not thinking about that. Stupid Brexit.
Yeah.
What should I be excited about
I guess
that I don't know about?
The Last
Yeah.
of Us 2 might be showing something else.
I'd like
I
are we likely to see
Sony
any?
doing stuff at Gamescom after they didn't do anything at E3?
They might
Yeah,
show
yeah,
a trailer.
Sony have
They
got
might show a
presence
So
at
trailer.
Gamescom.
Sony are there.
Do you think we might get a little bit of Neo 2 then? I'd like some
Might.
Neo 2.
You might.
Maybe
Yeah.
some super secret follow up to Spider-Man.
I
Marvel's
guess there might
Spider-Man.
be some Ghosts of
It'll be too early.
Tsushima.
Ghost of
Marvel's
Tsushima
Daredevil.
would be fantastic.
Oh, that would be good.
That would be fucking good.
You see, if Sony are there, then I'm a little bit more excited.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Microsoft will be there.
Yes.
No one cares, though.
Sea of Thieves 2. More sea. Less thieves.
Tom cares.
I care.
He's their biggest fan.
Just me.
Tom cares.
What are you excited about, Dom?
Well, I was going to say, I'd really like to see more of Gears of War Tactics.
Yeah, all right. Okay.
Okay.
That's fair.
Christ.
That is
Why'd you ask
fair.
Tom?
He was playing some.
You like tactics and you like Gears of War. I understand.
5, weren't you? 5? Is 5 the next one?
We played, we were playing in the multiplayer test thing.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, we played some Gears of War 5, and we went, well, it's like Gears of War.
Yeah.
So we went, maybe we should just check. So then me and Tef played Gears of War 3, and that was Gears of War.
Yep.
And then, just to check, we played Gears of War 4, which turned out, surprisingly, to be Gears of War.
Yeah.
And really
I see a
overall,
pattern here.
I
Yeah.
don't really know whether Gears of War 5 is going to be that amazing or groundbreaking, because it seems like fundamentally it's Gears of War.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it kind of
But then
done?
there's going to be
Gears
a
of War?
huge, there's going to be a huge portion of the fan base that are like, that's what we want, though, right? We want
Yeah.
more of Gears of War.
There's more of it,
But whether
yeah.
I think the earlier games rode quite a lot on the multiplayer. And
Yeah, the
Yeah.
co-op play was such a big deal.
I-
Yeah, but-
whereas
back in the early
I've
ones.
been playing 3 without, because I've gone back to 3 and I've been playing it on my own. and it is not really all that much fun on your own. Like the horde mode's still awesome, and playing multiplayer with Tef was good, but playing the single player without a co-op partner is just really, really dull.
And I always thought they were basically a shit Unreal tournament.
Yeah.
So that was my position on Gears of War.
That's a
I was like, this feels like a shit Unreal Tournament mod.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
where,
but I like Unreal Tournament a lot. And I'm still sad that.
in some ways, that's where Xbox made their name, though, was like
Yes.
multiplayer. Online multiplayer was where they staked their claim. That's why the Xbox did so well, because the PS3, it was all right, don't get me wrong, but the Xbox was significantly better on online multiplayer. So,
And with that, our hour is up.
oh,
Shit,
no.
we only have an hour. Fucking hell.
Don't end on me. Don't end on me.
Sad
Sam.
times.
Well, we are.
What are you
Oh,
looking forward
God.
to from games? Comment.
No, Elden Ring would be good. If somehow I get surprised and there's something about the next God of War, then I will be very surprised.
I think
I would be very, very,
think too
very
early.
surprised. It is very
Yeah.
early for that. But that
Very
is what I'm
cool.
holding out hope
Yeah,
for.
that would be totally Thorsome.
Ooh.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes.
Good night, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Drop the mic. Although I
Ow.
won't, because it's Dom's, and he'll be angry with
And
me.
they are somewhat expensive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks for that. Please make sure you tune in to the Sixth Axis, or
Whatever
you
that
know,
next
type it
time.
into what's the name of that thing?
Ecosia.
Ecosia.
Yeah?
So go Ecosia, the Sixth Axis,
Can you spell
and
that?
help while you
Oh,
learn
God,
about
no.
All right.
while you learn about computer games. You are also planting some trees.
Yeah, I think it's
That's nice, it's good.
ECCOSSIA. P.
If that's wrong, you can Google it and then use it.
If it's wrong, Google it.
Yes.
Thanks.
Ding it. Don't.
Bye bye.
Bye.
See ya.